Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Coach Sherry, and I am so happy to be here with you this evening. But I do have to say that today was a long day. I had someone come from another municipality in the region, and she wanted to come to shadow me and see how I do what I do and what's going on here in Charlotte. And I was so excited to have her here. And it was very productive. I also learned a lot. When you are meeting new people, and especially if they have reached out to you, don't forget they have value too. They have a lot to share. So, as you can see, today is day 79. What? Day 79. I have gone live every day for 79 days, and this is a 90-day challenge that is to go live every day for 90 days. If you are trying to start up, reboot, restart, rebrand, reintroduce yourself to the YouTube channel, to the YouTube community, I recommend doing a challenge similar to this. You don't have to do it for 90 days. I know Conscious Business Services, she did hers for 7 days. Other people have done it for 30 days, 60 days, but this is 90 days. And I am doing it leading up to my sweet 16 years of having my YouTube channel. Now, I've been a content creator for almost a little over 4 years, but I've had this channel for 16 years. This is also part of my Real Talk with Coach Sherry's podcast. So if you are interested in seeing any of my previous work, my previous videos or podcast or videos, definitely check out my channel. I invite you to look and see and hear the things that I share. This channel is about workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, real life, real issues, and real talk. And it is here to motivate, inspire, and transform you. I always recommend that you get your pen and paper ready so that you can capture the nuggets that will be dropped. And if you have a comment or two, if you're here live, drop them in the chat and let me know what your thoughts are around the topic and the information that is being shared. For those of you that are here on the replay, I love a replay, gang. Thank you so much for tuning back in and saying, you know what, I missed the live, but I'm going to check out what Coach Sherry had to say. And I also especially appreciate when you let it be known, when you tell me, I'm here for the replay, or if you have a question or a comment to say about what you had just heard. Life is about going around and gleaning as much information as possible. There's so many great ways that we have available, things we have available to us to do that. And definitely YouTube is one of those resources. So, as you can see from this title, this session is going to be on strategies successful entrepreneurs use to maintain determination. So, the key word is determination. And that's the letter D for, do you remember the A through Z guide to personal and professional growth? That is a live that I did a few weeks ago. And I gave an overview of all of the things that it takes to grow personally and professionally, A through Z. And I said that I was going to come back and give more detailed information about each letter. So far I've done A, B, and C. And today we are at D. And listen, with 26 letters in the alphabet, I absolutely could have done this for 26 days straight. But, I like to chop it up. I like to have ebbs and flows and different types of content to just kind of keep it moving for me, if no one else, but for me. I love to have a variety because I think variety is the spice of life. It's like looking at a television station, not necessarily a show, but a television station. And that station will have a variety of shows that you can choose from. And that's how I feel like my channel is. It's all related, but it also has that variety. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you want to be an entrepreneur, maintaining your determination, understanding your why, revisiting that is going to be important. And a lot of times, people will talk about, oh, you need to have determination. I want you to be determined. And, that's all well and good, but how about having those strategies? What are some of those strategies that you can use to be successful? What are the tasks? What can you use to implement to make sure you remain determined? That's the thing. People will tell you to be determined, but how can you be determined? So today I'm going to share the how. And I see Tasty Creations with Tara is in the building. Salute to you from India. I know that you are way ahead of me in time. Today is the 18th of June. I'm sure you're already in the 19th. So I appreciate you for being here, keeping my chat moving. Thank you for your support. I really do appreciate that. So as we look at how do successful entrepreneurs maintain determination, I wanted to just kind of give you some tips that, again, you can implement, and I hope that you write them down. If you know other entrepreneurs, please be sure to share this with them. Talk about it with your fellow colleagues, with your peers, about different things that you would like to implement, how things that I'm sharing with you, how they have resonated with you. Let this be a conversation starter, if nothing else, because, sometimes you sit around and you're like, wow, I have so much to say, but at the same time, you're not quite sure. But if you are with people who are like-minded and they are in the world of business, these are great things to talk about. Find out, it's not, everything I'm sharing with you today is not the end all be all. There's other ways that entrepreneurs are successfully maintaining their determination. So please be sure to share your own here in the chat and or share it with your friends and learn from them too. All right, so successful entrepreneurs, they employ several strategies to maintain determination and perseverance through their challenges. They push through. They don't let it stop them. A lot of times when people start something, they've been having. Oh, you do? You have thyroid and blood pressure? Okay. Well, I hope you take care of yourself, Tasty Creations. Maybe changing your diet. If you can exercise, definitely go to the doctor so that you can see other ways that you can help your physical health. Health is wealth. So we definitely have to take care of ourselves. Some things it's hard to prevent because it may be hereditary or, just different things going on in our lives. But definitely self care is important. So please take care of yourself for sure. So, a lot of people will say they want to own a business and they start it and then they stop because they lose that determination when things become too challenging, obstacles, they may have barriers that happen and they just give up. They don't remain they don't remain dedicated. They don't remain determined to succeed. So the purpose is you want to start and complete and not necessarily close your business, but within businesses, there's many starting points. You open your business, the grand opening of it, how you have to structure it, how you may have to hire employees, develop your business plan. That's one part. Then once you're open, it may be a seasonal thing where you're busy during one time of the year over the other, and you're trying to figure what that looks like. And you don't want to get discouraged and not remain determined, and you want to continue through. So how do you push through? Just because maybe there's a season where it's very challenging, where you're very busy, you have to hire extra people and all of that might make you say, I can't handle this, this is too much, I don't want to do this anymore. But don't do that. Continue on and definitely continue to work through, stay determined through that. All right. So the first thing you want to do is cultivate a growth mindset. And you'll hear this a lot in many different arenas, platforms, about having the importance of having a growth mindset. So entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, they view setbacks as opportunities for learning and growth, not failures. For example, Sarah, who is a tech entrepreneur, she refused to be deterred by investor rejections and persistently refined her pitch until securing funding. And I know yesterday, Slasher Chick, I believe it was yesterday, was talking about venture capital, when there's companies, there's groups, there's individuals that look for special projects to invest in. And so sometimes if your business is really new, if you are novice to your business, meaning it's your first time doing it, you have this idea but you've never done it before, your idea may be so innovative, it's never been done before, or you just may have just started, it might be something that you just don't have a lot of experience in or whatever. Sometimes it can be challenging to acquire traditional type of funding, and you may have to go through a venture capitalist or angel funding. Now, some people, if they're not truly determined, they'll let that be their setback and they'll stop and they won't be successful in that arena. So the thing is, you have to stop and you have to think about what other ways, where is another loophole, another opportunity. So if you're trying to get funding the traditional route, but they're saying you don't have enough years of experience, you don't have enough financial backing of your own, you don't have this idea is so new, they never heard of it, they can't even imagine how it's going to be successful. Don't just let those traditional financial places deter you. Go and find a venture capitalist, find an angel investor, get some people around, maybe a group. I know that many people used to come to my parents because a lot of their friends either had discretionary income or they had their own businesses where they did a lot of different types of investing. And my parents would have what they would call cottage parties. This is for also for politicians to come and talk about what they're going to do for the community, but different people would come and talk about opportunities to invest. And the group can either do it individually or as a group. So, there's people that pitch ideas and you can pitch your idea. Make sure you have it tight and right. Like this Sarah, who was a tech entrepreneur, kept getting refused, but she didn't let that stop her determination. She refined her pitch, and made sure that it was tight and right and that she was capturing all the information that was needed. So, yeah, and it is definitely a great way to give back to their business and community. Yes. A while ago, I had mentioned, I remember being young. So, my family room in my home, my childhood home, it had stairs, that came down into the family room. And so often I would sit on those stairs during all of those pitches and those meetings, those think tank meetings that my parents would host. And I remember, when I don't even know, I might have been 12 years old or younger, and maybe about 12. And this businessman came to my parents' house to speak to them and their friends about investing in Harlem. And at that time, Harlem was selling brownstones for $1 because they were burnt out. Harlem was burnt out. The brownstones, the exterior was great, because of what the material was made out of was the brownstone. But the insides needed to be gutted out. They had fires, or they was just just falling apart on the inside. And they said you could buy them for $1 because they was trying to give them away. No one wanted them. The owners abandoned them. They just walked away. And so they really thought long and hard about it. My parents and their friends, none of them lived in New York. They all lived in New Jersey, right across the bridge from Harlem. I used to, as a teenager, I used to go to Harlem all the time, every weekend almost. If I was bored, I would go to 125th Street and hang out by the Apollo. I would go to the 125th Mart and buy from the outside vendors there. I would love it. I used to love it. And so but we didn't live in New York. We lived that close to New York, but it wasn't New York. So the concern for my parents and the investors was, if we buy this for $1, we're going to have to find a contractor that's licensed in New York. And it's a lot of crime there. There's, people going to try to rip us off. Who's going to go there on a daily basis and make sure the work is being done, that we're not getting ripped off? That was their biggest thing. And then they said, well, how long can we hold it? How much of the taxes? They had all of these concerns. But fast forward, and now those brownstones are worth, $3 to $5 million, maybe even more. And they could have bought them for $1. So those are some of those types of opportunities that came across their desk. But just keeping your mind open to the possibilities, understanding that there are groups of people out there that are interested in what you have to sell. You just have to find your tribe. All right. The next is practice resilience rituals. You want to build emotional stamina through daily practices like meditation, journaling, or connecting with mentors, because that will help you bounce back from setbacks. So, Raj, who was a serial entrepreneur, he maintained a gratitude journal to stay positive after his business failed. Now, just because you do all the right things in your business doesn't mean it's going to thrive. And at some point, you may have to look at it and say, you know what, this is more of a liability than an asset. You give yourself 3 to 5 years, because the IRS gives you 3 to 5 years to have a failed business, or a business, I'm not going to say failed, but a business that's not showing a return in investment. And if you're not able to turn it around, you may have to say to yourself, you know what, this is really not me. Like if you're trying to open a bakery, you're trying to be a baker, and you can't bake, but you want to be a baker. You have all the right intentions. You have that determination. You want to be successful as a baker. But if your baked goods don't taste good, then you have to just kind of like let it go. And you have to keep it real for yourself. Not a lot of people will keep it real for you, so you have to be real to yourself. If nothing else, hold that mirror up, be accountable, be authentic, and be genuine to who you are. Be true to you, if no one else. So when that happens, you still have to remain positive though. And maybe, no, you're not a baker, but maybe you can sell baking products like the baking pans, the utensils, the supplies that it would take to bake. You can maybe open a store that sells those types of things. So understand your strengths in that way, but stay positive and write a journal. Have a gratitude journal. You will still have learned so many great lessons in that experience of trying to be a baker, the do's and the don'ts. You will have connected with different vendors. And that's what I'm saying. If you connect with vendors that sell like pans or spatulas or mixing spoons or measuring cups, make those great connections and keep those great connections and make that into a business. All right. And listen, I'm not a cook at all. Everyone knows it. It's a sad story that I'm not. I just wasn't paying attention. My mother was amazing at cooking, and people are always so shocked knowing that I'm her daughter. Like, how can you not cook? How? But that's not one of my strengths, and I'm okay with that too at the same time, because I have strengths in so many other places, and my family has never gone hungry, so I'm very fortunate with that. So I'm good. Those are all my side points or whatever. Let me see. Yes, you can still work in your passion for sure. All right. So the next thing is you want to set clear, achievable goals. Breaking down your vision into specific, measurable milestones provides a roadmap and motivation to keep going. Writing down your goals and tracking progress, celebrating small wins. And so that goes back to the, 12-week year. And that is something I know Slasher Chick you talked about. And that's something that I'm still working on my planner journal with that. But that is a very valuable tool to write down your goals and keeping track of them. And the reason why I know my planner is going to, really do well is because there's not too many interactive comprehensive planners that also help you set and create your goals, but also the strategies around your goals. So that's going to be important too, for sure. Yes. Yes, I paid attention. Yep. They pay attention. Pay attention to all the business going on around you. The next is to eliminate distractions and practice self care. So, again, successful entrepreneurs, and we're talking about strategies that successful entrepreneurs use to maintain determination. They prioritize focus by removing potential distractions and taking care of their physical and mental well being to sustain energy and motivation. Now, when we look at distractions, a lot of people think distractions are what you can see, like maybe a cluttered desk or um, some some things that are in the way, obstacles that come up. But a distraction could be someone that's trying to tell you something that is not really helping. They are focusing on the naysayers, someone in your circle that may, when something bad happens, they keep on bringing it up. They want to keep you on that track of what people are saying you can't do or won't do. People maybe that aren't holding up their end of the bargain or the end of the stick or their responsibilities within the project. That could be a distraction. And you have to recognize that, because if you find yourself getting angry or frustrated at things that you have really no control over, I mean, you can absolutely, maybe if it's an employee, fire them, but you have no control over how fast they move. You want them to move faster, you encourage them, you coach them up to move faster, but sometimes for whatever reason, they just won't. And let me tell y'all, I learned that when I first started coaching basketball. And when, I started out coaching young girls like 10, 11 years old, and my team was like the Bad News Bears. They were a hodgepodge of players. I was like, yo, what is this? And so I did learn, though, that I prefer a hodgepodge. I prefer a Bad News Bears type of team, because when they get it, they got it, and they are good. The ones that are the prima donnas, that, are the superstars, everybody on the team is all that. I can't handle that, coaching that type of team, because they think they know more, and a lot of times, they come up with only their own excuses because they have this natural talent. But what they don't realize sometimes is that natural talent can be fleeting. Sometimes your natural talent is like it's it only comes maybe once in a lifetime. You may have that natural talent when you're young, thin, and wiry, but as you grow and you get taller, maybe you don't get accustomed to your body, you become awkward, and you don't have that natural talent, is not really following you. Or you may not have it when you're young, and you might be the shortest one on the team, and then you have this growth spurt, like Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was like 5'7" or something like that, something crazy. 5'7", no taller than 5'11" when he graduated high school. And I believe he was like 6'9". He grew so much after high school. Who knew? So so I used to coach this. My first team was a Bad News Bears team. And I remember my frustration when I would see them, some of the girls anyway, at practice, running so hard, doing so good in practice. And so when they would get into the game, it was almost like they became camera shy or something. Not that our games were recorded or anything back then, but they would just become camera shy. And it was as if they couldn't run. And I literally, as the coach, would run down the court as far as I could before getting a technical. But I'm like, come on, like, run. I know you can run faster than this. Are you kidding me? And that right there was so frustrating because it's like you're not really playing up to your potential. What are you doing? And it turns out, and a few of them, after I'm talking to the parents, like, yo, what's going on? you know the maybe they had a argument with their parents on the way to the game, or the parents were browbeating them on the way to the game, talking about what they better do in the game, not to embarrass them, putting all that pressure on them. And I'm like, listen, we don't talk to our kids that way. And I didn't even have kids. I was like 22 years old when I first started coaching basketball. And I'm telling them, you can't talk to them like that before, not before my games. Talk to them like that before somebody else's game. But I gotta have their heads got to be clear, you know. But I promise you, I would be running down the sideline, running right next to them. Like, it was the crazy. I was a very animated coach. I was. I had so much fun, especially with that first team, because they were my first team. And so, interestingly, speaking of coaching my first team, my son and daughter are going to be coaching a basketball team together, and their first practice is Saturday, and I cannot wait to see how this goes. They both play basketball very well. So I know in terms of skill, that's going to be great. And I've always told my daughter, this one in particular, since she was young, it's something about her way. I'm like, you are a basketball coach, like, absolutely, hands down. And my son has so much patience. I know that if she does kind of get go there the way that her mother used to, he'll probably wind her back down. Listen, am I going to practice? I want to so bad, but I don't know if I'll be able to contain myself. The last time I coached basketball was in 2000 and about 2014. And I had to give it up after that. I was my daughter's basketball coach. She wanted to play AAU, and I couldn't find a team, so I was like, "Well, I'll make a team and be the coach." And that's what happened. And I don't know. I felt like I was too old. It was just my nerves were bad, and maybe it's because she's so much like me. Until it was a lot that year. So I don't know. I'm definitely going to go to all their games for sure. For sure. See, I don't know. And so Slasher Chick, I can't really contain myself in that way. And so it would be hard. It would be hard. So I think I'm just going to wait until maybe I don't even know if I should go to their first game. I need to go somewhere down the line when they are doing, like, their team is kind of established and they're either winning or losing by that point. I need to start going at that time probably. I don't know. So, all right, the next thing is yeah, mid-season. That would be the best time for me to go and check them out. But I'm so ultra excited for them. I think that's the dopest thing. The players are so fortunate to have them as coaches. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for them. All right. So you also want to remind yourself about your why. If you're trying to be a successful entrepreneur, and if you're trying to maintain your determination, you have to remind yourself of your why, reconnecting with your core purpose and impact that you want to make. That will reignite your passion during tough times. In the beginning of anything, when I first find, or someone finds me, and hires me to be their coach, especially if it's with their business, I always ask, what is your why? Why are you doing this? If they tell me, oh, because I can make a lot of money, I really don't rock with that. I don't. That I don't know what that means. That means that you here for the money grab. That means that, if you have a product that you're selling, you might sell it to someone that thinks that they have this long-standing business relationship with you, but little do they know you're just in it for the money. So you will sell it to them, but then the next week something else might come along and you might start selling that, and they can never find you again. So that's not having a lot of integrity. What if they have a challenge with what you sold, but because you made so much money, you don't really care? So I'm looking for, people in business that truly have a passion, that have a connection with the things that they're selling. And people will say, and I've heard this many times, people, if they're wanting to get into a business, they can do anything. And it's true, you can. And I even shared about my dad, when he and my mom were starting a business. They had several different types of businesses, completely not related to each other, the businesses, because he just wanted to be an entrepreneur that bad. But the one that stuck is the one he was most gifted at doing. And so sometimes that's what it is. You know, you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you get to that prince. But at the same time, you have to know your why. Is your why so that you can be a better contributor to your family and to your community? Is your why because you want to have that flexibility? You is your why because you know your product is going to be helpful to someone, that they're going to use it and it's going to change their lives, it's going to impact their lives? You know, are you doing it because you just want to, you know, this is your legacy and you want to you know, do something that you stand 10 toes down on, you know, you know, and some people always say, like, this is the thing. I think it was T.I.'s son that said, you know, I'm standing on business. I'm standing on business. But I don't say that. I say I'm standing on his promise, because God has a promise for all of us. And if we believe and we make it plain and clear, we will have it. But if you aren't standing on his promise, what you standing on then? And what are you doing? What is your why? All right? Because standing on his promise, it gives you your why. It absolutely does. All right. So the next thing you want is to seek feedback, support, and mentorship. So you want to leverage your networks, join communities, and learn from experienced mentors to gain insights, advice, and encouragement. And let me tell you, when you are reaching a pivotal point in your career where you're like, yo, this is really happening. What is going on? Or you start seeing all these distractions coming your way. And at some point, you got to be like, am I attracting these types of distractions? Maybe it's me. What's really going on? I know for me, there was a point in my career where certain things were happening, and I was like, okay, I've been trying to fix those certain things, but it has to be me. And if it's me, I'm gonna fix it. I'm not, you know what? I'm gonna take account for this because it has to be. So the coach had to be coached, and I got an executive coach to help me through it. And it wasn't me necessarily, but it was different strategies that I needed to use to get through it. So even if you are a coach, if you are a counselor, therapist, whatever the case may be, you may need one of those for yourself. If you're not, you definitely need one of those for yourself. I don't care what level you are in business. You know, if you are C suite, if you are, you know, a partnership, a S Corp, whatever, if you have multiple franchises, anything that you're doing, you need some tuning up. And the best way to do that is to to acquire someone that's a little more skilled than you, or as skilled but has a different perspective. And I'm not talking just from your circle, your friends. I'm talking about someone that is literally on your level or above that can help you through. And the networks and the communities that you would join, listen, I don't know about you, but you may be the only one. And it's no fun being the only one in your circle that's doing the things that you're doing, you know, that is being as innovative, that has as much courage and as much posture and the nerve to do, dare to dream, and going for it. Not everyone in your personal circle will be like that. And so maybe they're not discouraging you, but they're also not being able to be that think tank partner with you or for you. So sometimes joining networks, associations that are aligned with what you do, not necessarily doing the same thing, but in a similar fashion. Like there, if you're into real estate, they have real estate investment associations that you can join. They're called RIAs. And you will meet other people that are in real estate in different levels of it. They may be developers, they may be contractors, they may be agents, brokers, you know, whatever it is. And you may not have those types of people in your real life circle. So joining associations like that, where you will be connected with people doing similar things that you want to do, you have different types of conversations. You walk away with new ideas, being feeling motivated. And that's what you need when you are trying to remain and maintain your determination. Because if you're the only one in your circle coming up with all these ideas and everything, it could drive you crazy. And you start losing ideas. You're not being as innovative after a while because you just aren't getting that feedback, and it becomes very draining. So I encourage you to connect with an association or a network. The next is to maintain a positive mindset. Practice gratitude and also affirmations and mindfulness to help you stay focused on your solutions over your problems. And it also helps you cope with stress. Some people, things go on around, but if you have that gratitude mindset, no matter what is going on, you will always remain positive and continue to move forward through those barriers. And that's the part people don't understand all the time. The affirmations that you may say to yourself or have written down, the affirmations that you read, the gratitude that you feel aren't necessarily words that you're speaking out all the time. So when things are going on in your business that's really, could be earth shattering to the average person, you know, um, people can look at you and say, "How are you so calm? Like, this doesn't bother you?" But they don't know what's in your soul, what's in your spirit, what's in your heart, what's in your mind. You can think about anything positive. When you are at a meeting, and things aren't going the way that you want, try to smile and think about something great. People always used to say to me, "How are you smiling? Like, you have always seemed so happy." Because I am, because I have so many other great things as well going on in my life. And sometimes I just walk around and think about them. And that's what keeps me going. Like, yeah, and I actually learned that from my youngest because she is one of the nicest people that I know. And she always has a pleasant smile and she attracts so much to herself because of that. I mean, you should see her even drive, and she always has like a slight smile. And one day I said, you know what? I'm going to try that. And when I did, it just changed my whole spirit. So try that. Thank you so much, Slasher Chick. Thank you. You were saying, I learned so much from your content, never thought about what you just suggested as I tried to get my first duplex. Yes. So definitely look into a Raya group. It might be called PA Raya, Philadelphia Raya, or just Raya. I know Charlotte has one, Metrolina Raya. So every area basically has a Raya. They're a national association, and that's going to really help for sure. All right. And then you want to embrace continuous learning, acquire new skills and knowledge that are relevant to your business, and boosts up your adaptability and determination to overcome obstacles. The more that you learn, it could be, going to Slasher Chicks lives and looking at the different AI and technology platforms. And you think about it, you're like, huh, I could probably implement that in my, part of my strategy for my business. Huh, I never thought of that. I never heard of that. You should be saying, I never thought of that. I never heard of that at least 3 times a week. Some form or fashion at some part of your day, through at least, not at the most, but at least 3 times a week. I say every day. For me, it's every day. Every day I look for something I don't know, something that is that aha moment. I am a continuous learner. If I don't see something on a daily basis, I'll go to a LinkedIn, read an article. I'll go to Forbes and read an article. I'll come onto YouTube. And heck, at this point, what, we 79 days in, 70 plus days for Slasher Chick. I think she's at 78, 76, 77, something like that. Heck, you go to her live every day, you're going to learn something. So if you learn something, do you understand what that does for you? That people wonder, like, how are you able to communicate with so many different people on so many different levels about so many different topics? Because I learn all the time. I learn all the time, and I live life out loud. I don't live life in a shelter. I don't live life in a shell. I don't live life nervous, scared. I live life out loud and confidently. I live life authentically so that when I do come around, people know that I'm not here trying to be a money grab or trying to take something from them, that I'm not trying to take credit for anything that they're doing, that I'm truly trying to learn and how I can make it into my own as well and be innovative with it. So when you have that type of posture, you know, you are going to have things in common with everyone. So always look for those opportunities to learn. So I am tomorrow. I can't promise tomorrow. Look, it depends on which way the wind blows. But I do want to go and on another day to talk more about how networks and communities supports entrepreneurs in staying determined, because that's really a big thing. I cannot express it enough how important networking is when you are in business. But I just wanted to share these strategies because, you know, successful entrepreneurs, they really cultivate the resilience and unwavering commitment necessary to persist through inevitable challenges of building a business. Don't ever think that the road is easy. Some entrepreneurs out here make it look like that because they know how to implement these strategies that I just shared. So it is going to look easy, but trust, they are going through some things too. It's just a matter of how you view it and how you roll from it. Let it roll off and not on you. So I listen, y'all. This has been my pleasure sharing this information with you. I hope you all were able to get a nugget. I appreciate Slasher Chick, Tasty Creations with Tara being in the building. And for those of you that have been listening in because you couldn't get to the chat, I appreciate you for tuning in too. And for those of you looking and coming back for the replay, listen, thank you so much for that support. I hope that you got a nugget. And if you did, leave it in the comment section. I would love to hear your takeaway from this information that was shared on strategies successful entrepreneurs use to maintain determination. And remember, determination is the D for the A through Z guide to personal and professional growth. So that's all I have, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Everyone, stay safe and have a wonderful evening. I am Coach Sherry.